shit happens. Couldn't make it. Gonna announce at the top of the show that episode is gonna be postponed indefinitely. We will figure out what the fuck's going on. But much love to the guy. No issues whatsoever. Just shit happens. He's got a lot going on. So, took a week off, and we're back and better than ever. I'm feeling good. I got a lot to talk about, and wanted to take care of you guys as we continue along the guest train with some pretty good fucking guests. So, the first person I will introduce, you know them all from the Corn-Fed podcast, and if you don't, please go check that out with Dalton Pruitt. It was the first ever show that I got to do. It was an honor to come and guest on there. Big shout out to the Billionaire Podcast Network. He does a lot of his own endeavors. He's been starting Right Ideas. He will do solo episodes over there, but a lot of the time he is joined by Broseph Smith, who you all have heard over here more than once. Another great comedian you should check out. Give it up for my friend Dave Wright, and joining him with us today. This is a guy you all know who is a loyal soldier in the war against all that is cringe and corrupt. This guy doesn't ask much from anybody. He just gives. And we could all do that a little more, right? Be supportive, not phony, just know where we should be. Read the fucking room. And that's what this guy is doing. So making his debut appearance on any show, which I'm proud to be a part of that. Give it up for Lemonheads. Boys, how are we doing today?
Good. What's up, Lemonheads?
I'm doing well, thank you. I would like to fix something from the beginning. I am not a comedian. I am not funny.
You are absolutely funny.
That is a rumor. Please don't spread that around. I'm a stick in the mud. If people start thinking I'm funny, they're going to expect stuff from me, and I do not want that.
Okay, you know what? Fair enough. Dave is just a lamp, you know? Nothing more, nothing less. Turn him on,
I'm an
turn him
on-screen
off.
producer. I'm an on-screen corn-fed producer. How about that?
Fair enough. I mean, that is how Ben kind of got his humble beginnings. You know, he started off just doing a show, and now he's doing multiple shows himself, which, big shout out to that guy. I don't want to just make it a big Ben Avery show, but there's a lot that I want to dive into with you guys. I don't want to just steal the spotlight. I'd rather kind of flesh out what you guys have been up to, you know, not get too chauvinistic with everything, but, I mean, Dave, I know you were talking to me a little about what your Claude shit that you got going on, but for the most part, what have you been up to, brother?
Yeah, I do. So I had an original show, which was Dave Wright the Thinker, which I'm bringing back. I just put together some stuff on that to build out a plan of how to monetize it. And I actually used Claude in Claude Code to help me do that, and it's going to set up some agents. But basically, I've been building a lot of stuff, working on the right ideas, as you mentioned, with Broseph, which we do a live show every Saturday at 12 p.m. He quit his job, and I wanted to teach him how to make money without a boss.
And he's doing great now. Proof of concept, good shit.
He's slowly growing. He's slowly getting used to it. If any of you guys are looking to make money, I would check that out. But I've just been like chilling and trying to put the stuff that I want to do in my life first. I'm getting old, and like putting money second. So that's why I've been doing more stuff online, because I like helping people and hanging out with you guys. So young bucks.
Yeah, us YNs got to stick together, and you're not checked out yet, so don't start putting yourself in the old man
I'm an
category.
old head. I'm an OG. You guys are YNs, but I'm an OG.
We do call you Master
now.
Roshi. I'll never let that meme die. We got to get you and Dalton in a picture looking like the Turtle Hermits together. It'll be too fucking good.
I've gotten that from other people too. I used to get that. Well, I wear these shirts. You guys can't see in audio. I'm wearing a Hawaiian shirt. And I wear like camouflage pants. And I've had a couple of poker dealers, young guys, pull me aside and say, "Do you know who this is? Because you look like him." And then they bring it up on their phone. So I do know who he is.
That's the best too. When I was down in Detroit not yesterday, but on Friday, dude, I'm pulling up to this Mexican restaurant I fucking love. I've gone to it my entire life. My dad used to deliver alcohol there way back in the day. It's called Soshimoko's. If anybody's ever in Detroit, go to Mexican Town, go to Soshimoko's, have a blast. Reason I'm bringing this up so randomly, the guy that I pull up next to as I'm about to enter, he's listening to Dragon Ball Z music in his car with the bass banging. And I mean, he's got the fucking, like, the Android cell theme, the do-do-do-do-do-do, and it's just bum, bum, bum. And I had to fucking, you know, put out the fucking peace sign, like, yeah, dude, I know what you're listening to. And he got super excited. We had our nerd moment. He turned it up even louder. It was cool. So, yeah, it's nice when somebody can fucking recognize or put things together. And, I mean, that's one thing Dalton talks about, too. He has this... He's never wanted to give himself names. I like that he's about that life. Other people kind of give him his nicknames, like Dolphin Pruitt, Dalron, the funky homosexual. That's been a really good one that spawned. But it's nice when you can just kind of find comparisons in life. And, shit, I was just giving Harley some shit today, because... He looks like that, you know, that Chud the Builder guy, the fucking, he's walking around like Gypsy Crusader and just calling people the hard R.
Should I look this guy up?
Yeah, you absolutely need to look up this guy, Chud the Builder or whatever. And Harley Morstein looks like his older brother. It's crazy. They have the same fucking facial features and mustache, like the, you know, the porn star handlebar mustache shit.
Oh, I see him. He's wearing a black tank top. He's got the handlebar mustache and the black. He's on TikTok. I see some videos. Actually, all the videos that popped up is black people reacting to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a rage baiter. He's a race baiter, yeah.
It's insane, too, because, like, when he gets into a group of black people who know who he is, he switches up immediately.
Yep, he code switches, too.
He does, and there will be those times where, like, he'll be cocky if it's one or two. He'll pull out that bear mace and be like, the fuck you want to do? And he's just throwing the hard R out. And it's like, that's the level we're at now, man, where you just got guys who they want to be an unhinged character and they're playing life like a fucking virtual reality game. It's kind of adorable in a way.
I replied to one of his tweets yesterday. I said, to a tweet, he's gonna chase the clout straight to the grave. And I mean, it's got 3.k likes and 77,000 views, 48 shares in a day.
That's how it should
people hate this guy.
Yeah, and that's part of the whole dynamic of he's going for that. He wants people to hate him. I mean, anybody who's listened to this as comedy knows that's kind of the angle here, too. There is an anti-humor, Andy Kaufman element to what I do. It's not supposed to be for everybody. If you get annoyed or pissed off by shit, good. The joke's on you. I gotta get some fucking chuckles out of this shit, too. It can't just be a one-way transaction. So the entertainment is all around. It's just that guy, I would love to see Gypsy Crusader and Chud the Builder fight. I think that'd be a good fucking matchup.
I'm looking this guy up right now. It's crazy that somebody does this in their real life and then they just go home.
Right?
And I'm trying to look, is this him? Because he's got a GoFundMe up or a Give Send Go up that he's trying to raise 100K and he's got 49K raised.
He's pulling a Jeff Dye? What do you mean?
No, this one has this is actually sad. It says it has something to do with his 2-year-old son or somebody's 2-year-old son being sick. I'm honest. I mean, I don't know if I'm on the right thing. I'm on Chud the Builder on Twitter. And the first pinned comment is a thank you for everyone who's supporting me through this battle in the Chud army. And then you click on it and it's him. It looks like him. It's hard to tell. He doesn't have his handlebar mustache up, holding a young child. And I guess he's sick, but he's collected almost 50K out of 100K for donations.
I believe you, Dave, but LH, is this true? I just don't want to look it up. Is this fucking true? Are you serious?
Yeah, go to his Twitter and go to his pinned. I'm in the right place, right?
I'm gonna break. We're barely into the episode.
I see it.
Oh my.
Well, it's just like crazy to me because it's like
there's no fucking.
If you go through his thing, like this is a guy that's bear macing people and stuff, right? He's the dad.
How?
And then he's like pumping meme coins on like pump.fun And then you go to the pinned comment, he's like, yeah, my son's dying. Can you give me money?
There's no.
Yeah.
So he's throwing fuel on the fire for all these crazy racists so that he can pay for his child's medical bills. Maybe this is insane.
I didn't know
There
who
has
this
to
guy
be
is. This is
another
why
way.
it's great for me to like come
Right.
in and like learn this stuff.
At least there is a nobility in what Gypsy Crusader is doing. And I mean that. He's still a fucking piece of shit because he's going on Monkey and calling black people monkeys, but ultimately this guy, he's existing in the real world, and he is gonna get checked at one point. I think LH is right about that, where it's not a matter of if, and maybe that's part of the strategy if we want to go down a weird rabbit hole. Maybe the guy has a life insurance plan out on himself and he doesn't care about his life anymore. So if he
That's
calls
3D
enough
chess
black
right there, bro.
Yeah, he's playing that Star Trek shit. And that's kind of, I've talked about that before, but that was my initial take with like the whole Jeff Dye situation. Because I don't want to make this a fucking Jeff Dye episode, but I was on the Gay and Racist show, like not last weekend, but the weekend before. Shout out to Minty and Handler. Love those guys. But we were just kind of taking our... Fuck, don't tell me I'm high and I forgot the point. But I'd be like that, guys.
Yeah, it happens. I'm looking on his thing here, and it's funny because he's pretty big. He's out here on the streets, and obviously there's billions of people on the planet, so what big is big. But Aiden Ross has got videos of him up where he's reacting to him and reacting to black people reacting to him.
Really?
So he's big enough that mainstream. I don't even know if Aiden Ross streams anymore if he quit, but
Oh, he's
that
still
like
doing it.
those guys have caught on to watch his videos. So I'm surprised he's only got 50K, to be honest with you, out of the 100K. I don't know.
He needs to drop a couple more hard R's to bump it up a little bit.
It's always crazy too. Like you go to his thing and it says free speech, patriot, Christ is king, America first, on Rumble. And like his whole living is dropping the hard R in Tennessee.
Totally Christ-like. Totally.
He does say that he's a comedian. I mean, I guess this is comedy.
That's a cop. That's a cop out, man.
There it is, Dave. Ding, ding, ding. I don't know. And it's just odd to me. There's people out here living in this world, and I don't know. Again, if there's something behind the curtain, that's fine, because again, that's how weed work. It loops you back. I'm doing the weave as Trump talks about. But when I was speaking on the whole Jeff Dye situation, when people were really starting to shit on him, I didn't think that it was the way people saw it. I thought that he intentionally set it up knowing that it would trigger people so that he could get people to blow him up, because I didn't know who Jeff Dye was until people said that he was a grifter who had a GoFundMe. And the same way that we have psyops where people are talking about Charlie Kirk's death and fucking Iran, Iraq, all this bullshit, how do we know Jeff Dye didn't just psyop us? How do we know?
Dude, you're giving him too much credit. He literally thought it was
I?
a hilarious joke. He thought it was just the best gag he
Well,
could come up with.
here's the other thing that I was thinking when he did it, just from like a business mind point. Whenever you research business and you talk to like rich people that want to like do startups or whatever, the first thing they tell you is if you can use other people's money to do something, then do that.
Yeah.
So like even if he's like rich and he's eating out and he's living in ALA and all this stuff, if he could get his fans to pay for his move, it's kind of a baller move if you think about it, in my mind. Like he's voluntarily saying, hey, pay for this. Now he got called out and everybody's like, you're rich, pay for your own move. This is scummy. But if they had just paid for it and he made the move, it wouldn't have become anything. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Like you would have just actually looked like,
yes.
yeah, I just got a free move because you guys love me so much. Thank you for helping me move. So it's like,
Yeah, it's almost the way people handled the situation is why he has somehow... I'm glad everybody says he sucks all the time, because he does. But in a world of people who suck ass, I kind of don't think Jeff Dye is relevant enough to even be on the lips of some people. And I don't even mean that in a negative way to Ben Avery. But yeah, I do think Jeff Dye has a little bit of subterfuge in him, and people have teams, and it's not all black and white. I've seen behind the screen enough, which I'd never try to little homie anyway. Dave's got much more wisdom than I do, and LH, I don't want to put yours into question. I just know I've been in enough situations independently to have a few anecdotes where you think something is going to be a certain way, and a friend of mine once said it's like a magic trick. Once you know how it's performed, well, it's not really magical anymore. So there's different ways to acquire currency, or, for example, ways to assign value to things that they become currency, and it's not too far-fetched to me that Jeff may not have thought he would have gotten anything, because I could go set up a GoFundMe right now and beg people create a story, but the optics of people being able to see that, I don't even get enough views on my regular posts, and if that's what I can do at my best, you know what I mean? Me getting a check mark, or me, there's things that go around this, and people unknowingly, for the better or worse, do have that hidden hand aid to the master plan at work, where you, not that you're totally supporting or agreeing what I'm saying, Dave, but it does coincide where he just did it to see what would happen, but all these other elements at play, I'm sure he was willing this into existence, trying to get people to talk about it, and then people see this, and yeah, maybe if you have money you don't need this, but this is just another guy he's kind of just a lame fucking dude, but a hierarching point, because Bobby Lee talked about this during his special. It's like you have fucking pedophiles walking around, and nothing's happening to them. You got scientists disappearing, and no explanation behind it. I just don't know at what point do people take a step back and think about the shit that really matters. And I don't just mean subjectively, where like, oh, a Starbucks every day really matters to me. That's not what I mean. There has to be some more meaning beyond the surface level of, oh, well, this is my reaction to something, and I'm that basic to get dog walked along this path that I don't even know if I really want to put my energy into. And if I could see the entire thing, I could probably make that choice of, no, I'm going to go focus my brain somewhere else, because it is like a multiple choice sort of form where every day we wake up, you have a bunch of shit that's presented to you, but how you interact with it does determine whether that has any success or failure. Sure. And you might think you're making a poignant point with someone, but at the end of the day, you're just, again, fuel to the fire. Some people are able to do takedown shit. Other people, it doesn't matter. But for me, it's like, I hope Jeff Dye disappears into the abyss, because he doesn't matter to me in terms of there's other people out there still. You had mentioned this a little bit during the pre-show. There is like there's still people from the olden days that act a certain way, and if you don't play a way they like, you'll never get access to the things they have control over. It doesn't mean you won't find success in certain places in life. However, you're still going to find roadblocks where you'll get to a certain point with one place, but then you'll reach that point where they have somebody there, and you're never gonna get further. No matter what you do, no matter how right you are, it's not about proving anything, it's that guess what. It's not gang stalking shit, it's that in life you really only get a few opportunities to make the right impression with the people that matter. And I've been watching that Your Friends and Neighbors show, because I never really got into Mad Men, but he's been pretty fire in this shit. I don't know if you guys have checked it out, but it makes a strong case. You got to check it out. It shows the downfall of people and, you know, false opulence, what we surround ourselves with, and then how we forget about things, the frivolous nature of a lot of our decisions, and that we piss it away. A lot of this shit that, you know, you could be building something more meaningful than Jeff Dye. There's so much more out there. I actually have, can I hot take you guys on Jeff Dye for a little bit? Please do.
And I don't watch a lot of it, right? But here's what I saw. Just bigger picture stuff.
Right.
So like when COVID hit, I just happened to be kind of like watching Theo Vaughn.
Yeah, me
But
too.
almost immediately he was like, I'm out of here. I'm in Tennessee. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and so to me, that didn't mean like he's good at making decisions. It meant he wanted to be there for a long time, and he had the excuse to leave without people bothering him. He
Yes.
clearly didn't like LA life. And he was like, but that's where you go. And I watched him on Road Rules. My sister used to have a big crush on him. So I've seen him
Oh, wow.
in the public eye for, you know, for whatever. He's a little bit younger than me. He's like my sister's age. But so when I look at Jeff Dye, I think, mate, what if, like, just hear me out. Here's a different story. He is in LA. It's very expensive. He's trying to make his comedian and get some gigs and stuff. And although he's got a huge amount of money coming in, or a decent amount of money coming in, it's also going out at the same time because it's expensive to live the lifestyle that he's living on his career. And so he's not as rich as everybody thinks, even though he's got a lot of money, it's getting spent. And then COVID hits and he's kind of getting crushed, but he's also been hiding as this like conservative guy or whatever he is, libertarian.
That's cowboy of LA.
Yeah. And but he's been hiding this for a while. And he's got these things that he's been thinking about that he was afraid to say because of his career. But now his career's kind of ruined and he's going broke anyways. So he's like, screw it. So then he doesn't have enough money, but he has some. So he asked for help to move to Austin. And he actually kind of needed the help because he didn't have the cash flow coming in. And it was expensive for him to move. And then he starts doing this act that a lot of people are attacking. And they're like, this is old. This is like, you know, this is pre-COVID stuff. This is whatever. But
Yeah.
if he had it on his mind for so long and he hasn't been able to say it, it's, you know what I mean? Like Nick DiPaolo type guys have been saying this for a while. Maybe he's had this in the back of his head and he's like needed to get it out. And because he's been in such a bubble, to him, it feels like this is fresh material. But to people that have been like living and seeing this stuff for a long time, you're like, bro, you're living in the past. Like we're over that. So like, I always look at like people that I meet. Like I remember when Alex Jones was getting raided by the feds. I'm sure both of you guys know who Alex Jones is.
Of course. He played my clip.
Yeah, I'm sitting at a poker table in New Hampshire, surrounded by hundreds of people, poker dealers, everybody. And I'm on my phone. I was like, guys, holy crap. Alex Jones is getting raided by the feds. And you know what they said to me?
What?
Who's Alex Jones?
Really?
And so I started asking people, like lots of people and people I knew, and pulling people aside that I was like, hey, I know you maybe don't want to say this publicly or whatever, but like, you know who Alex Jones is, right?
You hear a lot of no's.
And they're like, no. So I'm like, oh, so
Right.
these guys, they listen to Kill Tony. That's the pinnacle of comedy. They don't know who Alex Jones is. Jeff Dye's like this new comedian that's finally sticking it to the man in their world. You know what I mean? Like we're in this different timeline of where we've seen stuff, because other people are like living in the, you know, these different safe spaces, and this is their first chance to like break out of that safe space that they were in. So, you know, when we watch Ben Avery and he's making fun of Jeff Dye, I do think that a lot of his criticisms are valid, but I also do think that I mean, I don't know. I don't follow Jeff. Is he doing okay? Like, are people showing up to his shows?
No.
Listen, his podcast gets maybe 2,000 views a week, and that's mostly Lemonheads leaving being supportive
okay.
comments.
And
I
that's
should
you
say.
being very generous, because if
Okay.
we're honest, LH, we know the numbers were worse before we came in. He
Yes,
was getting
absolutely.
Like 300 to 400 views, Dave.
Yeah,
LH
he was
being
having
very
800
generous.
views.
Jeff,
yeah,
if you're
it was
listening, I
bad.
hope you know, even though there's like a little moment about you, look how generous he's being with your it's not even a swarmy, shitty way of saying it. He's being very charitable, saying, oh yeah, you know, like 2,000 views, because that's not like unbearably sad. But no, brother, you were getting 300 to 400.
Hey,
and
and
then
here's
we all
the big
came in.
kicker. He has almost 200,000 subscribers.
And you wonder
So how
what's
is he
the
getting
ratio
2,000 views and
Yeah.
50
How do we
likes?
know about
It's
you?
not adding up.
You know, you
I've
can't just
seen him
buy the
on-
bot follows and then elevate yourself, and you don't have the motion, and you end up being boring and uninventive. And that is something that, you know, Dave, I don't want to say he's wrong for trying, but maybe he tried wrong. Maybe he tried wrong and he should have tried something different. I don't know.
Listen.
I
Here's
do
the
remember
problem
when
with
he was
Jeff
on
Dye.
Real Ass Podcast, and I think Story Wars. I think Lewis tried to have him on in New York City for a while. I didn't
Right.
hate the guy, but I don't know. So I don't follow this closely. So you guys fill me in. What else is that?
Yeah, LH was
Listen,
about
listen.
to say some shit.
Yeah.
It's not the grifter hack thing he's doing that it's his biggest crime, his biggest sin. The problem is the points he's making are so ridiculous. You know, saying racism is bad, or you know,
Or talking about
that's-
the Mario movie for 30
Yeah,
minutes and drawing
That's what it
conclusions
is. If
from
he
it.
was doing the grifter thing at a high level,
You should
he
have heard
coulda
him. He was
really
talking
cashed
about
in.
fucking Princess Peach and about how many times are we going to go and rescue the princess from the
Right,
castle, and when are we going to tell that dumb bitch, hey, you're not going out anymore with what is he, a Koopa or a turtle? What the fuck is
he's
he?
juggling too many personalities. He has his wrestling stuff. He has his little kid toy, you know, shit going on, or his little pins and his little.
He's walking
knickknacks
around
he
like
collects.
Split. He's that fucking dude,
Yeah.
the beast or whatever.
And he admittedly says he's just trying to make everyone his friend. He wants everyone to
Yeah.
like him, and that's
But then
what's really
Ben
screwing him over.
Avery's shit, they get taken off YouTube. Yeah, sure, buddy.
Did you see? There was a really good video circulating. I used to follow him. It was crazy because when he first got like exiled from mainstream, Owen Benjamin, I did like Owen, and I was like, I do
did
think he's
too.
getting a bad rap. And the more he started like moving away, I was like, oh, he's losing me.
Yeah.
But now he's coming full circle. He made a decent video the other day to Theo Vaughn, and it kind of addressed this thing about how a lot of comedians and famous people had bad childhoods and weren't getting proper attention, and so they want everybody to like them, and it ruins your life. And so Owen made a little video to Theo inviting him out to Idaho to say, hey, I want to talk to you a little bit about like having principles and not trying to get everybody to like you, because you're going to ruin your life trying to get everybody to like you. Find people who like you for you, and then figure out a way to ignore the haters, basically. But it was a very good video. I would recommend people finding it on, it's basically Owen Benjamin's video to Theo Vaughn, and listening to it and seeing if they can get some value for their own life out of it. I found it valuable.
Did you guys
It's like
notice
working
that?
with your hands, and like two men working together, even if they're not talking, are bonding in love because they're both feeling the pain and the suffering and the sweating, and when they drink that first beer, that first lemonade together, they both appreciate that they worked for it, and they're sharing in that experience even if they're not talking. And now when we kind of like lost that as we moved to a digital world and stuff, so there was a lot of good parts of it like that I do trust in.
The only thing I'll add on to that reminds me of is I'm sure you've seen him, Dave. I don't know if you have LH. And if you haven't, like, it's not a big deal. But there's these fan edits. It's not a real thing. It's not AI. But these actors used to do interviews back in the day. And it's Robin Williams, and he's talking to someone that he co-starred with, believe it or not, which a lot of people don't even remember the movie Patch Adams.
I remember Patch Adams. Good
Great movie.
Yeah.
Great fucking movie that gets a lot of hate. I don't like the review system because it's people who just don't know what the fuck they're talking about a lot of the times, and I don't know what they want from shit. I'm sorry that there's not like a 20-minute anal sex scene or some fucking crazy shit like The Boys where 5
Not
dudes are
enough
looking at
Dude,
each
I
other's
mentioned this
asshole kissing off
recently.
the picture.
People are like, do you watch The Boys season 5? I was like, no, I watched season 1, loved it. Season 2, first episode, I'm like, oh, they made it gay, I'm done, and I haven't watched it since. I was like,
Yeah,
this
you
doesn't help.
didn't miss out on anything. I'm telling you, there is a scene where it's a guy who can replicate himself, and they open up the room, and he's in like a sauna, and they're all like eating each other's asses, and then the dude who's the leader at the front, he's jerking off to a picture of the bitch that they all simp for. And I'm like, why is this necessary?
Yeah.
When I don't need this? It doesn't add anything good. And they're like, oh, well, that's just what the show is like. Is Game of Thrones all about showing me dick? Because that's why I didn't watch the fucking show. I had to read a little bit to try and see if I was interested, but it's fucking sad. And
people don't realize that they're being propagandized to the point where when I tell them, when they have that gay scene where the guy shrinks down and gets into this guy's penis and they're doing the hedonism thing or whatever, and I turned it off and they're like, oh, you're being a baby, you're missing out. I'm like, no, you guys are being propagandized. And they're like, no. And I was like, well, okay, you're right. And then I'm like,
right. Yeah.
Because it's like, yeah, well, like good propaganda, people don't realize they're being propagandized. So, okay, yes, like you're not being propagandized because you can't tell the person being propagandized that they're being, like, it wouldn't be propaganda if they realized it was what it was.
Of course, that's the beauty of it. You're being fucking distracted and lulled under the illusion of you're the one who's being righteous and true to yourself. And before I forget it, the whole reason I brought up Patch Adams, I forget the guy that he co-starred with, the doctor that like didn't really like him in school and shit, but then they were friends, and he was in Mission Impossible as the villain. He's been in a couple. He's like the white dude who wears glasses, and he's a little fucking chubby.
Oh, Philip Seymour Hoffman?
Yeah, my man, Philip Seymour.
Yeah.
They made this like fan edit of separate interviews they did where it looks like Philip and Robin are talking together, and there's two separate versions. There's one when they're young, and then there's one when they're old. And the way that they're edited together, it's kind of...
It'll make me cry.
Yeah, it's very eerie because it's like it was meant to happen, and how they're just... Because you see Philip, when Robin is saying these certain things, have these moments of reflection where they portray it as like there's a hopefulness to talking, and Robin is just like, no. And very absolute about it, and it's just a beautiful thing where anybody who hasn't checked that out, go look for those fucking videos, because it's sometimes I play shit on the show, but I'm not gonna play that today. It's just I'm having too much of a good time hanging out with the guests to be rolling into fucking any kind of content. And I still have fun stories to share. Like, I haven't even gotten, now that we've delved 30 minutes in, I want to get to the meat of what I am excited to share with not only my fans, but I get to fucking talk with you guys about it. I know LH had something on the tip of his tongue. Do you want to get that point out before I fucking Autobots roll out with this shit?
Oh, it passed, brother. It's okay.
Okay. Yeah,
No
but
way.
see, I got you, man. I'm not the type of person who likes to roll over bits or anything. When people have something meaningful to contribute, bro, I always like to rotate back.
I appreciate it.
You know what I mean?
I'm trying not to step on, talk over.
Please do.
Step on
That's
people,
I feel the same way, but this podcast is for us. I've had people ask me about that too, and it's like this is ours, and I take the risk for everybody. If people don't understand what satire and humor, and I shouldn't have to say it every episode that it's in the title. It prefaces everything. This is comedy. And then everything that follows, people can't have an uptight butthole about. So, no, dude, be obnoxious, be boisterous. If you feel like you want to say something, you've been very good in terms of respect. And, like, it's easy, bro. This shit ain't nothing. You know what I mean?
Hey, you guys have, and Tony, have you not, were you saying this was your first time here or your first time doing some live recordings or whatever?
Yeah, this is my first time doing any type of podcasting or
So
whatever.
one thing that's tough with online that I had to learn, because I've only been doing this like a year with other people, there's latency and everybody's hearing like a little bit something different in their headset or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of have to bully each other a little bit and learn how to talk over where you're just, like to get the flow. It's different than being in real life. So no one's going to be bothered by it. But when I first started, I was like, oh, I'm talking over. And then it kind of ruined my flow. So no one cares, or at least I don't care. Talk over me, whatever. It just happens during the thing.
It's
like I
very
said, I'm not
Zen state flow art.
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of like the hip hop cipher battle days where everybody in the circle kind of knew when to step in and say their little line and then step out. And it's good that you have the cognizance, because most people don't, LH. Some people are fucking stupid. No offense to the world, but hey, I'll say it. Some of us are fucking idiots. Maybe I'm a retard. Who knows?
Yeah, most people
But-
are not too bright.
You know, you at least know how to not step over somebody's shit, and that's good that when you are able to let people do their thing, that is almost as important as wanting to contribute something to the moment. Because, yeah, sometimes you can stop somebody from going to a really funny fucking point because you thought you had to throw something in there, but it's a very delicate dance you got to do.
Exactly.
Last night, I was trying to talk, and I kept being quiet, and then somebody would talk, and I was like, what the frig? Is this person, like, they mad at me? We were live on air or whatever, because they kept, like, bolting over me or whatever. And then they were like, you're muted. And the other people like, no, he's not muted. You just can't hear him. So he, for some reason, his like StreamYard just wasn't putting my audio through. And then he rebooted and came back and like he could hear me again or whatever.
That's insane.
But I was like, what the frig, dude? Like, why does he keep talking over me? And I just kept getting quiet.
I know that's not a bit, but I love that when that shit happens. Like when you're talking and they're just like, we can't hear you, Dave.
No, it literally was everybody else could hear me except he couldn't, and he rebooted. But when it was happening, I kept like, sometimes people can't hear you, so you have to get quiet. And then eventually sometimes you're like, I got to talk over this guy because I want to say this and I want them to know that I'm trying to jump in.
Yeah.
And I have the big beard that covers my lips. You can't see this on audio. So I think sometimes you can't see when I'm trying to talk because I'm a good ventriloquist. My lips are covered. But at this time I was like, but like the third time I was like, what the frig, guy? You hate me or something? And we were a little arguing about politics. But then come to find out it was an audio problem and he reboots. So I was like, oh. And so like, I try not to jump the conclusions because I think everybody comes here trying to do their best and they're trying to have a conversation in good faith for the most part. So, and just have fun.
You can't be too pinched up about it. It's not that deep. And especially this, I mean, I'd never want This Is Comedy to get too serious. It's the three words that describe it: low effort yapping. That's what it's supposed to be. That's what it's always gonna be. I think people are a little tired of the over performative blah 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 because everybody does that. What happened to being gritty, hawking a loogie on the sidewalk, going to a dive bar, throwing a beer bottle on the ground, taking a drag off the joint? What happened to my motherfuckers who liked the grunge, the gritty? Everybody wants this like spotless, perfect, and I've been there and done that. I used to make music. I've dabbled in quite a few different things where I 100% understand why you think that's what the goal is, but no, there's so much more going on that you have to get some help from other people to find that perspective. It's not going to reveal itself to you. That you need other people in order to see that life is deeper than what you think. You'll never find all the answers you're looking for by yourself. That just doesn't work. You can be very studied and learn things, but at the end of the day, without other people, we're kind of fucking farting around, so.
Yeah, you need experience. You need real life experience.
But I've been in a really good mood this whole weekend, and I got to do something that I don't do. It's very out of character for me, and even though a little bit ashamed to say this, but some of us have a late start, so fucking hate me. The first comedy show that I've ever had the privilege of being a part of besides Skankfest, because I don't consider that the same thing. Skankfest, when you're spending 18 hours being a part of the venue, I may have been backstage for Chubby and shit like that, but ultimately I'm not just in the audience of my own volition as a paying member being a fan. But my first comedy experience that I get to tell people I was a part of as just a regular Joe Schmo was Bobby Lee. And I'm proud that his first theater tour, he came to Detroit. It was a no-brainer for me to make the drive because I'm not too far, but I'm also not extremely local. And, you know, you wake up super fucking early. I bought multiple tickets because I wanted to take my family and make it a kind of a special memory for me. You know, you don't have a lot of time with people, so try to spend it with the ones that matter. And great fucking drive. You kind of dabble through memory lane, places you used to be. I used to spend a little time in Genesee County. Anybody from Michigan knows that's a very hood place to be. So don't judge my credibility. I come from the mucky muck. And, you know, we make it down to Detroit, and like I said, we went to Soshimoko's. The food, I'm not going to act like it was amazing, but I had to pack it up and take it, like, with us home, which I've never had to do there. A place that I've been eating for 20 years. I devour whatever's there. And it was the first time I was like, it's changed. You guys, they finally got to you. You couldn't hold out, and it just... Like, the deep-fried flour tortillas weren't the way they used to be. They were, like, tough, and the rice had, like, a fucking wetness to it where I'm like, you guys had the best dried, like, with oil. And so you leave there kind of disappointed, but you're still happy you went there. And I tip good, you know, you're not going to fucking not take care of people. I'm still happy to be there and support. And Bobby Lee was at the Fillmore, and it's funny, I made a little Jeff Dunham reference when you were talking about ventriloquism with your beard. The guy down the fucking street from Bobby was Jeff Dunham. I'm not kidding. He was at the Fox Theater, which is much bigger, you guys. It eclipses the Fillmore. I think it has...
Dunham still gets it done. People love him. I've been watching him since he was like on VH1 Spotlight.
And that's tough for Bobby to go up against on the same fucking night.
Yeah.
Which I love Bobby. I'm not saying, you know, it's like
I watch Bad Friends, and I will say Bobby, very funny, love Mad TV. Their chemistry, amazing.
Yes.
I don't know if Bobby Lee's a good person. He seems like kind of a prima donna. I've seen him walk off on shows, be mean. He's got something. He definitely wants to be a celebrity, but I think he's funny. I think he's super funny. I watch Bad Friends almost every week, and I would love to go to the show. I wish him the most success in the stand-up, that he finally got up there and made a special after all these years.
Right.
But he seems like kind of a jerk in real life. I don't know if that's a shtick or what, but like I've seen him walk off some big shows like he was too big for the show, and that's weird to me.
I got guys leaving comments every week about how much how bad they want to expose Bobby Lee. Apparently he admitted to having sex with a 15-year-old in Mexico or something like that.
Oh, he's talked about that on a podcast a couple of times.
Yeah.
He went down to Tijuana to he used to go down there before he was like super famous because he couldn't get laid without going to the whorehouses, basically.
That's wow. Damn.
Yeah.
Dude.
Well, he's talked about that stuff quite a bit on the old side. I think it was on Fighter and the Kid, wasn't it? Am I wrong about that, Tony?
I don't know. I just know they keep leaving comments about it, about expose him. Everybody, they're trying to get the lemon heads to go after him. I'm like, no, we're not getting involved in all that.
Yeah, there's Hollywood is still Hollywood, you know, and I think he likes to be in that world. He's yearning for attention in that world, but he's 60, so he's
54 up. Unless he's lying.
He's 54. Like I'm just saying, like he's older, so like the new guys come up and they're like, well, Hollywood kind of messed us up, so I'm gonna do clips and go online and whatever. But he came from the world where you have a headshot and you go in and you try to get work, and then when you make it, like everybody kisses your ass, and that's kind of gone. People have like kind of sidelined that, and I think that was his dream as a kid. But that, you know, the world that we grew up in no longer exists, and he hasn't. It doesn't seem like he can let that go. The other one that's kind of like that, not to talk like a ton of crap, is like Whitney Cummings. I think she kind of figured out a little during COVID, is like, oh, Hollywood's like dying, and I need to jump ship and do a podcast and get people to like me, like in the real world, not in Hollywood.
I'm very familiar in LH. I'm sure you've seen that clip on my channel, right? The Ben is my brother and best friend video.
I haven't seen it.
Have you seen it, Tony? Oh, he might be muted.
Oh, he's
sorry. What was that?
Have you seen when he's talking to Whitney, the Ben is my brother and best friend video on my channel?
Oh, Tim.
Yeah.
Of course.
Okay.
Of course.
Yeah, I figured. There was a slim chance that you hadn't, but like, I know the motherfuckers that have rocked with my shit for a minute. So, in that video, he spends 20 minutes with Whitney, and everybody knows the whole reason they like that dynamic is because it's a gay guy shitting on a woman, and so you can do that with impunity because people consider that the same. If you're gay, you're a woman, so you can call her a bitch and tell her that her pussy stinks.
He's got a free pass.
Yeah, 100%. So there's this whole banter, and this is from one of their earlier interactions, which for some reason a lot of people didn't know about, or people are too lazy to clip. I don't ever understand why certain producers, they leave gold lying on the fucking ground. Frustrates me because I'd love to be in their position.
Who was the guy? Sorry, I missed who the gay guy was.
Tim Dillon.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, Tim Dillon and Whitney Cummings. It was like on a boathouse, that like at Whitney's place, somewhere they were staying, and it was towards the end of the episode. And they just start having this conversation, and for whatever reason, she wanted to know, like, what are you gonna do when Ben leaves? And it turns into this whole thing of him defending Ben and being like, well, no, I would stop doing the show, and I don't want to call Tim a hypocrite. This isn't a whole, like, attack Tim Dillon segment by any means. But I remember this all playing out because it's in the video, and he articulated all this shit many times. I know Ben Avery's seen the video. I'm not going to go into that, but I know Ben's seen the video. And when I made the clip, again, nobody had put this out here. It was before the collapse of their era. It was back during like the prime. I did it as a way to kind of highlight how cool their relationship was, because it's nice when the producer of a show or any other people that co-host it with you. I mean, we all remember Stern and Robin and eventually Artie. We have Opie and Anthony. I'm really hoping that reunion at Skankfest this year is confirmed. I know I'm kind of tangenting out, but like that's just how my crazy brain works. I fucking go the distance, and he made this big point to Whitney about how he would never disrespect Ben because Ben was the only one that ever believed in him back when nobody thought he was funny, when Whitney didn't think he was funny, when Joe Rogan didn't think he was funny, Ben thought he was funny.
Yeah.
And they were going to do this thing until it, ran into the ground. That's not the case now. Tim does a very different show. I couldn't say it's the same thing. And a lot of people don't even know who Ray Kump is. I know who Ray Kump is.
We had Ray on the show. Shout out to a friend of the show, Ray. We had
Great
him on
episode.
Me and Ray have had some conversations about politics and stuff. And I've known Tim and Ray since Tim Dillon is Going to Hell on Gas Digital.
Yes. Yeah.
And
right.
I had the year before Tim Dillon went to the Bitcoin Fest. He still talked to me, but then Legion of Skanks had Milo on, and I said, "Hey Chris, hey Tim, if you want to get really into the nitty gritty, I got a scoop for you with Chris Cantwell and the Southern Law Poverty whatever, and how their government run federal agency. It's all just got released this week."
Yeah.
And Tim said, "You know what? You and me can't talk anymore." He's like, "I don't hate you, but if you message me again, I'm gonna have to block you." And I said, "Can we talk Bitcoin again at least?" And he says, "I'd prefer not to." Now at the time, Chris Cantwell was like the crying Nazi and problematic, so I understand why Tim did not want to ruin his career over that. But fast forward to 2026, what I was trying to explain to him back in 2000, this is probably 15 or 16, maybe 17.
Wow.
He didn't understand. Now it's like grandmothers are talking about this stuff. But so yeah, so I've known those guys since they were small enough to get back and forth with you in the DMs.
Yeah,
So
back when
it's
Tim
fun.
Dillon was still doing the fucking the food show with Mike Racine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and those guys are like, I get it. Like I wasn't buddies with them, I wasn't friends with them, but they had always been really kind and sweet. It was interesting to watch like like who knows what's gonna happen. It is interesting, like like with what happened with Ben and him or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know what the full story is, but I don't think they hate one another, do they?
It's
Like
not
I think
a.
it was just like they both were like,
They've moved past that, but I can
didn't they
tell
break
you.
up or end because Ben's like, I can't be traveling all the time, being treated like your assistant when I want to have a wife and kid.
No, that some
Okay.
people tried to turn it into something else, but LH will correct me if I'm wrong, but it was Steve will do it, right? It was him.
I think that was the straw that broke the camel's
Yeah,
back.
Steve will do it. Had a little controversy happen, and Ben and Steve go back, and they like call each other retards and fags, and that's
Yeah.
their humor. Nobody else can question or interfere with that because, that'd be like you thinking you're the fourth mic on Cumtown or something. Just shut
Yeah.
the fuck up. Leave them to what they want to do. And Tim was trying to little homie Ben. Again, this isn't me taking shots at anybody. This is the way it came off. He was trying to little homie Ben when I've heard Tim talk on Hate Watch about how there are no sacred cows and we should be able to make jokes about everything. That's something Patrice O'Neill fought for, about everything should be, the attempt is valid, go for the joke. And here Tim is little homie in somebody when this is your producer who you've done shows with forever. And what makes you think that you need to say, well, do you think the optics, do you really think this was the right time to say you're a pedophile on his Instagram post when his entire life was just taken from him? Do you really think that was the right? No, Ben. I'm just asking the question. And it's this whole like 40-minute thing, and I'm pretty sure it was a premium episode if I'm not mistaken as well. They didn't do it on the public. This was fucking on the Patreon, the page. And that Ben laughed it off the entire time. Was like, yep, yeah, you're. And for a moment, he was trying to really go into it about, I didn't think we were gonna talk about this on the show, but since we're getting into it, I like, this is my friend and I know him, and why are you questioning?
Wait,
And that
so Steve will do it was Tim's friend?
no, Steve will do it was Ben's friend. Like, they go back.
Okay,
And-
okay,
and-
okay.
And yeah, that was like a kind of Tim was kind of like, Tim's making a valid point, but he's making the wrong valid point to someone who is his brother and best friend and has been there for you, when everything else kind of faded out. And I understand you want to try and let people know, well, he did just have his entire YouTube banned and he's demonetized, so we probably shouldn't add on to that by saying things that people can take out of context. And it's like, yeah, but I'm sure Steve, because he's an adult and he can speak for himself, if that was something that he needed to let Ben be aware of, they would have a conversation about that on their own. And then I'm sure
Right.
Ben would remove the comment from his Instagram
Yeah.
wall
But
instead of
what's
it
more
turning into that.
egregious? What's more egregious? Ben trying to make a joke and fail, or his quote unquote best friend waiting until they're on air to scold him like a child for over half an hour, try to humiliate him? You
And
know,
I'm glad you said
it,
it instead of me,
listen,
because
I don't
I
care.
agree.
Tim is a hypocrite, and his loyalty lies nowhere. And all you have to do is listen to him say it. He's said it many times. And, for him to have that moment where he's talking about Ben as his brother, and, he may not even have been where he was if it wasn't for Ben, and then to turn around and just pick some influencer, to take sides and to scold. It's like,
Yeah.
why? Obviously, we know why Ben left, because imagine having to deal with that every week.
It's a
I
lot.
mean, I've watched every minute of Ben's show. I've had to, to make the clips, etc.
Right.
And I've read between the lines, with a lot of comments and feelings that he's had, and I don't think they're friends. I don't think, I would love for a reunion, but to see how toxic and poisoned that relationship was, and how did it go from brotherly love to there's some type of NDA involved, where Ben's not even allowed to talk about it.
Meanwhile, there's
No.
circles that he had trouble being a part of,
And he got
and
blackballed. I
that's what
mean,
I
let's
mean.
face it.
I don't want to just put it into such words, but I've seen people talk about that publicly. I'm not going to go
Well,
out here and pull sources out of
Ben
my
will
ass.
say it
But
without saying it. He says nobody will be my friend publicly. Nobody will work with me because
oh yeah, in the
of
DMs they
who.
supported him when his shit got removed from YouTube, but after that, like nobody publicly said anything. It was all just in the DMs, like we support you, brother, and that
No, but I
doesn't-
mean, even going back for after the breakup, I mean, everybody,
the
just
breakup like
deserted
they're
it.
dating.
It's interesting because when you were telling the story about the Steve Will Do It stuff, and I'm just listening from an outsider with trying to decipher before you do the hard line afterwards. I was thinking, I think they both. I mean, without maybe like the ambush online, if it was that, I didn't see it. It does seem like they both have valid points because I was just picturing like if I have a buddy that's going through some stuff and then I want to like throw salt on a wound as a joke, you think that they see it as a joke, and then an outsider might be like I get that you and your buddy are messing around online, but also all three of us are in a business. Do you think it's the best time to be throwing salt on your buddy's wound during a business time? And so they all seem reasonable in the thing, not having the big picture. I've had interactions online with Ben and they've always been somewhat positive. I think he's moved away from interacting with me because he thinks I'm a troll or problematic.
Well, he's had people bring DoorDash to him and his wife and kids' house, so it is tough.
I
for
heard
him to,
that was a
like-
GoofCon prank. So I don't know if that was legit.
I've had actual interactions with Tim Dillon in real life. And I went up to him in Vegas when he was at a restaurant with more than an acquaintance, less than a friend of mine. And I just went up to the three of them to say hi and catch up. And Tim immediately was like, or he didn't say it, but he was being this like, hey, like we're the talent, get away from us type thing. And my buddy was like, yeah, we're catching up. He's like trying to get away from everything. You understand? And I was like, yeah, I understand. No problem. I enjoy, good to see you guys. I'll catch up with you later. And I did. I caught up with them later. So I do think Tim has like a very calculated Hollywood, new Hollywood mindset.
100%.
About
He's climbing the ladder. He's calculated. He is a cold-blooded killer. He said on his podcast years ago, "Give me the money, and I'll back anyone." That he says it. He says, "You can buy me. I'm for sale." And I think Tim has a point. It is a business, and you should, try to manage your relationships. But my point is, no matter who was right, you could have talked to Steve Will Do It in private, and you could have talked to Ben in private, and you could have figured it out. And you could have even maybe put out a statement or something. But
Normally,
to attack
one
him,
grown man doesn't worry about another grown man's
I can
private
say this,
business.
too. I'm in the middle of cleaning my whole Twitter up. I have a bot deleting all my likes and my Twitter and stuff. And I am gonna be, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna like not be myself and not be authentic. But I did have some talks recently with some people in the industry, and they were basically like, you're building a business. If you want to treat it like a business, you can, and there's a particular way to do it that you'll be successful. And there's a particular way you do it that you're going to struggle. So if this is something you want to do, I can give you some guidance.
Right.
And so there's a difference between backstabbing and being mean and throwing everybody under the bus to get what you want. But there is like there's certain things, you know what I mean? Like if you're going to start a business and it starts growing, it's like, well, I'm not going to get an LLC because I'm a libertarian. It's like, okay, I will back you up on that philosophically, that you don't need the government's permission to like start a business. but you're opening up a bunch of problems. So it's
Right.
like, where do you want to make your concessions of as we grow this? And like, you want to have a kid, you want to have a family, want to have a wife. Are we going to go down the branded route of calling our friends pedophiles online when they're going through a tough time? So I'm like, I'm just playing devil's advocate because I don't know the full story here. And so like, this seems like, of all the stuff that I've heard Tim Dillon do that was pretty egregious, this seems like something where he's actually I kind of see where he's coming from, if you know what I mean.
No,
Like, if I was
we
in the
agree
kid
on
and then
that.
one of
We
my
agree.
childhood buddies was like, well, you know, Dave's a pedophile, I'd be like, hey, this is not the time to bust my balls. I'm in the shit. But you're right. I would have went to him and then he would have deleted it. It wouldn't have been like
Exactly.
a third party's.
Yeah, we're not in school. I don't want to get pulled into the
undressed
principal's
him. That was
office
his
and be
problem.
told,
I don't
hey.
see it. I don't see it. I'm not saying that you're lying or whatever. I'm trying to put all the pieces together as I listen to it. And I always like to try to steel man everybody's
Of course.
argument and put myself in other people's shoes rather than whatever. And I'm not trying to be wishy-washy because there is a truth to it. It's just I'm starting to learn, like, as I was like trying to build my accounts and everything online, sometimes it's better not to try to like reinvent the wheel. And most of the society is not smart enough to see the nuance in friendships and jokes and stuff online. They're very short-sighted and emotional and reactive. And so it's not like I think people are being manipulative. It's like, it's exactly the opposite. They're like, oh, all the idiots are going to run with this and it's going to cost us money. Can we do a little damage control to not trigger the idiots to cause us money type scenario?
It could also be that he just wanted a younger piece of eye candy in the studio. You know, when he first picked Ben up, hot piece of fresh ass, a wide.
No, man, if you ever hear this, you're still sexy.
And then one day Ben's coming into the office and he's got his Big Mac and his Zero Coke.
Yeah, he's got a big fat ass, dude. Now he's got a big fat lady's
Tim's
ass.
seeing the rolls on his side and the double chin and and the wrinkles and he's just like, it's time to put you out to pasture, buddy. And that does seem like a way to force the situation.
When I first started, it may or may not be about me. When I first started interacting with Devin and Ben on Twitter, they were liking my comments and having fun back.
Yeah.
And then one day, it all just ended, and
wow,
they weren't interacting. No big deal. And then, like 2 weeks later, Devin was like, "No, we got to stay away from that guy." And Ben and they didn't say who it was. I'm just being narcissistic, thinking it's me. And Ben's like, "He gets me sometimes, so it's funny." And he's like, we can't cross that line. And so, just recently, Ben had made some statement about the CEO or whatever.
Yeah.
And Donald Trump. And I said, yeah, I know you, Ben. You're one big arch away from doing the same thing as Rogan or something. And he broke and he gave me the like. And so it's funny that they all pretend like they don't see the comments and they're not reading them and they're all oblivious. But there was recently a special of somebody that I trolled too. And when the special first went up, I shared it with everybody. I made a comment. Everybody saw it. It was the #1 liked comment for a while. And then the comedian went through and hearted and liked literally like 50 comments. Mine was the top one. It was the only one he didn't like or heart.
Wow.
And so I wasn't upset. It was the exact opposite. I was like, I know you see me. I think you're mad that that it's funny and you can find this funny. And you're like, stop being funny on my...
Some people don't want to play ball, and you're just like, dude, we're playing hot potato, man. I'm keeping it alive. I'm trying to make the bit. I like your bit, so I want to make it blow up more. Fando's really good at playing with people. Like, shout out to him real quick. Just there's certain people that I interact with where they know how to let you get in and make it bigger and more fun. And it's a disappointment because the same thing. Ben will like my shit too. It's not every post, but I'm pretty surprised it's more than someone would expect a guy like me would have that interaction with. And I don't think I'm relevant on his radar because a couple weeks ago in the show, he was there was somebody in there who made like a weird comment saying that he had Trump derangement syndrome.
Oh yeah, he went off. That really pissed him off.
Yeah, and I had Ben's back, and Ben was like, yeah, this guy and some Indian guy are going off at each other in the chat. And I laughed at myself because he was like some Indian guy. And like, I know who you're talking about, but I liked that. Like, I couldn't stop cackling because that is kind of what there's layers to the Hindian name, and that is one of them. And shout out to Ken Wood because the other day I was telling him I wish he would have been in Detroit because I had an extra ticket for Bobby Lee. But dude, down there, parking is like New Orleans, and it didn't used to be that in Detroit. You could really pull up anywhere downtown and not have trouble. It wouldn't cost you a lot of money. Brother, a block and a half away from the Fillmore was I said it was a fucking Derek Jeter, man. This guy wanted $40 for the spot, and he didn't tell me until we pulled into his shitty fucking lot.
Oh.
And he was like, 40. I said, fuck you, and pulled out. And a bunch of people were trying to hustle us.
You guys know about ease out. He's trying to ease out you. You should have been like, bro, don't ease out me, bro.
I was thinking about, like, I'll give you 5. And I'm sure he'd be like, okay. But fuck you, man.
You should have just been like, hey, don't ease out me. Don't ease out me. And I've done it, dude. Ever since that Hate Watch episode, I've been ease-outing people. And they give you a look like, wait a minute, how do you know about that?
Really?
I know about it. Don't ease out me, bro.
All right. I'll add that to the ye old Habib archive. Okay.
Yeah.
But it was unbelievable that how they were scalping people on this night of the event. And I've got a little know-how. I've been around the D, so I know where you can go. And in any city, you got to really figure out places that no matter where you go, it's a guarantee for the most part. I learned about it in Vegas, which is trickier in Vegas. Some places don't let you park for free. But in Detroit, and I'm talking, we were 4.5 blocks away from the venue, I got to go park at the MGM for free. I don't have to pay some motherfucker $40 to come down to my city and go walk on the street and go to the Fillmore and watch Bobby fucking Lee. I get to go right where I want to be, and like sometimes people, they'll panic, and I saw all the dumb fucks that were lining up to go in these places, and I'm like, really? So you have those moments where it's like, I guess I do know how to actually pay attention to some shit instead of just falling in line. And
I'm like that in Providence, Rhode Island, and a little bit in Boston, but mostly in Providence, because you know how to navigate the city for so long that when there's a big event and there's a bunch of normal people that aren't used to it, they have to navigate it. You're like, okay, I guess I got to pull out the tricks that I've learned over the years to survive right now. Yeah.
Which you don't want to do. It gets annoying. You just want to be able to participate. And if it would have been $5, I would have paid it. Been like, all right, that's cool, dude. Hell yeah. But $40 fucking dollars, and it was funny. We walked past him as I was going in. I was like, hey, remember me? You said 40. I got it free.
It, bro. I just ease out of you, bro.
And the mother, he said, fuck you. It was fucking hilarious. Yeah. I'm with my family, and they hear this guy with his thick accent. Fuck you. I mean, I had a good time. If you want me to rate, because I want to let you know what I thought of Bobby's attitude or whatever, because you got a point there in terms of it was easy enough to get into the venue, but there was no merch table set up beforehand. And the doors opened an hour before he went live. And you know how comedians are. They always start late. Nobody's ever right on the dot. I mean, not even Seinfeld.
I think some of them do it because it's a mental game. Like, they're building the anticipation. Like, crap, it's supposed to start at 7. What's going on? I want this. I want this. I want this. I want this. And like, oh, finally, I'm getting it. Whereas if they're like, oh, I got 10 more minutes before this starts, and then you go on early, you lose that whole anticipation game.
And it gives the drunk people time to fill into the seats they paid for.
Yeah.
And, you know, the Fillmore is an old theater, so you're kind of. Remember those old style chairs where like you don't have a lot of room for your knees?
Yeah.
You're kind
Yeah,
of
yeah.
just crammed in there.
Oh, I grew
Yeah.
up in Boston, going to Fenway and all the old buildings.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so you get it.
Yeah.
And there it's
Especially in 2026 person's torso in a
yeah.
old school seat where they were all
Yeah.
shorter and smaller and less nutrition. Yeah, yeah.
It was tough. And I'm going to be honest, tickets for Bobby Lee were not expensive. So if you want to have like a point of reference to be like, "Oh, okay, well maybe he's a dick," but it was only $40 for tickets for not
I will
shitty
say-
nosebleeders.
No, so I think Bobby, I can separate the art from the art. I think he's hilarious. I think he's fun. I think him and Santino are some of the best improvers in the game today. The chemistry that they have is unmatched. That they can go right into a bit and right out and like play roles or whatever.
Yeah, but Michael Vick still fought dogs, so I get where you're coming from.
Yeah,
there.
and
There's
so,
some
but I
darkness
just
there.
think when he's like, I think some of that stuff that goes on the show that they talk about when they're calling him out about like being obnoxious or not caring or like pooping in the back of his car or like, he's got this, his ex-girlfriend's Filipino mother and sister or niece working for him like in the house, and they're complaining that he's like there's poop on the walls. I do think he's like yeah, well, that's what I pay you for. You can either go back to the Philippines or you can live in a rich house where I give you money. And like part of it, I think I don't necessarily think it's mean as much as like it's kind of a cultural thing too, because I've played poker with some Asians, and there is kind of like a point system where like the monies are the points. So
you
they're
notice
like
Chinese play poker very aggressive, different to like Koreans or Laotians. And I don't know if you've noticed that, because you bringing that up is just interesting to me. I've played poker with a few different Asian people as well.
Yeah.
And there's something to like they like to play at the places where they can bring the bowl of fucking soup and slurp it while they're holding the hand at the. And it's the biggest fucking mind game in the world that I just respect the shit out of it. So I just had to say that because, like, yeah, dude, there's some levels to the Asians when they're
I
playing
think
cards.
they know something that's going on. So like I don't know. Like I've never met the guy. It could be a bit too, because he could be I was talking about I have a philosophy video about this from like a year and a half ago.
Okay.
When remember when that dude or that lady did the Bud Light commercial and everybody like
Dylan Mulvaney?
Yeah, Dylan
The
Mulvaney.
lady dude? Okay.
And I said, and I was thinking this, like why are people so upset with this? Say it is a man, a biological male, that's being a woman, and they are playing a character. And I was like, why are they not allowed to play a character? Because like when I look at Theo Vaughn and when I look at Bobby Lee and I look at Norm Macdonald, they're kind of playing a character.
Yeah.
And
Andrew Dice Clay.
And and then like Andrew Dice Clay is a great example, because at some point it's like he lost himself in the character, like almost like Andy Kaufman. Now I don't think he even knows where he starts and the character ends. And then somebody talked about this before, and they were explaining Norm in this way, and they're mentioning the movie The Prestige, and I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it's a movie about people doing magic in the olden days. And
I can't remember, but go ahead.
There's this old Asian guy, and he's very old. He's got a hunchback, and he wears this big, like it's not a dress, but whatever it looks like a dress that men wear in old Asian culture.
Okay.
And he would get out of this old carriage, and he would walk into this theater, and he was the most popular magician at the time. And he would take this huge fish bowl that was like the size of him, with goldfish in it, and he'd make it disappear on stage, and then he'd walk off stage, and he would get back in his carriage, and they would leave, and no one could figure out what the trick was. And the whole movie, these young guys are trying to figure out this trick, and they can't figure it out. They're like, is it a string? And where does this thing go? Whatever, blah, blah. There's no way this is possible. They're looking for trapdoors when they leave or whatever. And then in the conclusion, spoiler alert, the guy's not an old guy. He's a young, healthy, very muscular, strong Asian guy. And he's holding the fishbowl in between his knees under this huge dress when he leaves the theater. And he's hunched over. And so the moral of like the movie is the trick doesn't happen on stage. Everything's the trick. When he shows up in the trick, the old man, he's hunched over because it allows him to hide the fishbowl.
Right.
I hunched over. And so when I see Bobby Lee, or I see Norm Macdonald, or I see, Dylan Mulvaney, Dice Clay, even Tony Hinchcliffe to an extent, even Luis Gomez, they all have a persona that they play.
I definitely agree with you heavy on the Tony, not to spiral too much into him, but I talked about that on Losercast, where like people who don't, Tony is different when you see him behind the scenes. He's pretty chill.
I met him in person in the persona out in the open, and he was like standing on his fingers, finger guns and everything, bam, bam, bam. And then I met him one-on-one in the elevator at the hotel. He's like, hey, good morning, man. Loving the shirt, dude. Looks sharp on you. And I was like, he's like, oh, no wonder everybody loves him. He's a sweetheart. And then I kind of related to that because on Corn-Fed, when people meet me and they're like, how does Dave get these beautiful women on the show? And why do they all love him? He's such a jerk. He's like, I'm the heel, dude. Like, you think I'm being mean to them behind stage? Like they're coming on because I'm professional and we put a show on for you guys. But anyways, the point being is, with these guys and their personalities and stuff, it is tough for us as the viewer sometimes to try to figure out, like, part of the Bobby Lee experience of why he's so funny and he's so good is maybe he's not an asshole. Maybe he's a complete sweetheart. But we don't know where the bit starts and the bit ends. And that's what makes it funny, because, like, is he still doing the bit when he gets in his car and he leaves to go home? You know what I mean?
Is
like,
he still
like,
Robert Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder as, you know what I mean? Is he still all black-faced up and fucking, like, does that ever end? How long does he stay in that mode?
Yeah, like, it's funny. It's kind of like, when he gets off stage, is he still doing the bit? And like, so when we're seeing him kind of be a jerk, like, is that part of the bit and the persona and part of the game that he's playing? Or is that his personality? So like, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I think he's hilarious and it works, whatever he's doing.
And it's tough to tell because, like I said, the lack of a merch table, I wanted to spend money and get his shit. The reason I don't buy it from the shops online is because I want a personal experience. I mean, when I got I'm wearing the Nathan Lund hat right now. Shout out Lund. Love your merch. I got it from him after the Chubby show in Skankfest. I wanted a memory of, like, I'm here in the moment. They didn't have Chubby shit. Sam was like, oh, I'm sorry, dude. But Nathan had me, and he, like, shook my hand because I'd been trying to find him the whole time. And when I finally got to say my spiel to him, it was just like, yeah, you know, you guys are great apart, but together you're the funniest motherfuckers ever. Like, you both need each other. Yeah. And he appreciated, like, his eyes lit up. I saw life, and he's like, what's your name, brother? It fucking made me feel good that somebody, you know what I mean? Somebody I have no connection to. That's how I feel about Sam Hyde and Nick. Nick Mullen? No, Nick Rochefort. Rochefort. Yeah. Like, Sam is really hard for people to tolerate, I think, because he's like, he's jumping in between being serious and being a heel and being aggressive and being over the top. He's very Andy Kaufman with his approach. That's what I love about him. But Nick is like so hilarious and likable, but he plays well with Sam. I think together as a team, people can digest that duo so much better. And I think when Sam tries to go solo, so I do think it's good that Lewis has been putting a lot of shine on Nick, and he's going to be at Skankfest again this year. Some of him showing up to Legion of Skanks like in costumes and be like, guys, and doing the bit like, you guys screwed me again. I paid $700. We were all going to dress up as, you know, Japanese showgirls or whatever his thing is. Scuff Realtor was great at Skank. He fucking came out as like this fucking fitness life guy on one of the, you know, like the hoverboard things, and he's going around telling people like, you want to make some fucking money? And they duped everybody. They're like, unfortunately, Nick isn't here tonight. We're sorry. He couldn't make his flight. But in his place, and yeah, he's a great talent. I got to talk to him a little bit in the bathrooms, too, because you guys, a lot of you didn't get to go to the bathrooms at Skank. You had to use the porta potties, and it sucks because the comedians were hanging out. It was like a second green room. They were all in this fucking bathroom. Just, hey, I'm not gonna say they're just hanging out. And I definitely had a couple conversations with people. Nick was one of them, where it's nice when somebody stays in the conversation. They're not like looking for the door. They're actually engaged in what the fuck you have to say. And that shit, that was cool to me. So yeah, you got some truth to your words. And it's tough to say with Bobby because he was only 11 minutes late to the performance, which was nice. That's when he finally came on the mic like, doot, 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 doot. Are you ready?
Let me ask you this. When those 11 minutes of anticipation, looking back, are you kind of happy that you're like, come on, let's go. I've been waiting for this. What's going on? When's it gonna come
I
on?
told my family as soon I was like, this is probably how it's going to go down. I even told them, you're probably going to see Hole. He's going to show Hole. So just please prepare for that. And it's funny because he loved the audience. He might just say that to everybody, but he had like some moments where he broke and like leveled with us about the Hulu taping and shit. But he had two people he brought with him. He had this chick, I think something
Was
Bird.
it Jesse Jetski?
No, it was something Bird. I don't remember the first. She was pretty funny. And then there was Ramsey something. I can't remember his fucking name. And I was sober as a whistle. That was something I wanted. I always get blazed out of my fucking mind every day. But since Bobby's a sober comedian, I took it upon myself to say, let's just go today, not stoned. I actually had a guy trying to give me a joint there who was like, what? You're not smoking it? And he was like, righteous, dude. I wish I would have done that. And people were giving me, I don't want to just ride my own dick, but it was like people were giving me compliments on my outfit. I had a good vibe at this place the whole time. Yeah. And it sucked because when the people next to me finally sat down, it was some young bitch drunk who just wanted to talk through the entire show as if we were here to listen to her. And I didn't say anything. You can at least give me some credit there, you guys, because I wasn't ignorant to make it about me and say, hey, do you see anybody else in this fucking theater talking right now? No? Then why are you? I'm here to watch this. Can we enjoy what we all paid for? Nope, I just kept my mouth shut. And when Bobby finally came on, he didn't do the he's been saying he only has 40 minutes. This motherfucker did over an hour. And I said it was an 8.5 on X. The reason I give it an 8.5 is because, Bobby, what Andrew Santino said about you is right. And Bobby, I love you. And if I ever I tried to talk to him there, but they were very weird about the whole thing. I didn't even want to bother him. I wanted to relay some information to his staff so they could let him know it wasn't happening. But his show, he did the dad bits when he tells the story about my dad would come and tell us bedtime stories. Yeah. And it's because he loves to kill so bad, so he'll dip into the old material, an old bit, because he knows it's going to kill.
Oh, you didn't go to the special recording? You went to just see him on the road?
Yes.
Okay.
He's doing his finally tour, so everything that's going to be in the special for November is in what I watched.
I will say this, right? So I've seen some bits over the years. I've never seen him do stand-up, and I never got to see Norm perform live before he passed, which makes me sad. But I was laughing that it's I could go see Bobby Lee, and since he, it's a ongoing joke, even the guy McCone on the show makes fun of him. But it's he's doing the same material since he started.
Yes, for all these fucking years.
That's old school. Seinfeld used to do that just until a couple of years ago. There's guys that literally have one act that they did their whole life.
Carlin was very meticulous. Everybody talked about how he was robotic almost with reciting how he was going to say a line, and if he didn't like it, he would adjust it so he could have a moment to breathe or extend a word and try different. And he would do that iteration so many fucking times. I mean, everybody knows when he did the talking about like every single racial slur, and then he dropped the hard R. That bit didn't go well in some areas. Just because we have the recording where people are clapping for him, there were a lot of times where he did that part of the act, and there's dead silence, and then people are trying to heckle him and shit, and he has to get through the rest of the show. So sometimes you shoot and miss with your demographic, but you can make a point if you have the audience with you and get a pass on certain things. But, it was like he did 90% new material and 10% old material, which was very happy. Like, that made me feel good about what I spent. Only $40 to see a fucking legend. You had 2 really good openers that you brought with you. And
that's deep. I mean, I'm thinking of some of the comedians that I've seen for $40 that they're not household names. Bobby Lee has been around forever.
Plus openers. So like we got a 2.5 hour show. We didn't get out of there till almost 10. It was fucking awesome. And yes,
that is one thing that I've heard. A rumor is like I want to say some. Bobby Lee's never gonna hear this, whatever. I don't want to be a hater, but like I have heard rumors that like he's really good to his openers and his staff, and like it's a money thing again, and it might be Asian culture, but I heard like he's very generous with helping people out. And there's been comedians that like were struggling that he took on the road and basically like, okay, here, and like now you have 3 months worth of money.
Yep.
So now go live and relax and work on an act because your bills are covered for 3 months. So for 3 months, you don't have anything to worry about except being a great stand-up. So he's done that for multiple people, I've heard. Like that's just an example. He's been very generous with people that Doc, Jet Ski is very funny. She's on Kill Tony now once in a while because she does musical instruments.
Yeah.
But she was always very funny in the show. I've never seen her do stand-up, but like they took her on the road and she made a ton of money, which gave her a cushion to go out and actually be creative without stressing about income.
Of course.
So it's great when comedians do that. And I've had people within the world that we're in, when I was like rebuilding businesses and stuff like that, reach out to me and be like, hey, are you any good at this thing? And I'm like, I'm not great at it, but I could probably do it. And they're like, okay, well, I'm going to pay you half of what a professional would get to do this so you can get some experience. I need it for cheap. You need the work and blah, blah, blah. So there's a big community of these people that understand how difficult it is to like be a creative and try to survive and keep your head over water. So a lot of them do like top down take care of other people, and I heard Bobby's really good at that. Like being.
And for some of y'all who don't understand what Dave is saying right now, there is a term for this in the industry, and it's called the sacrifice. And you are knowing that like sometimes you don't get what you're worth for something, but you being a part of that will get you to more. So if somebody gives you an opportunity, and I'm not saying take any opportunity, there are things that can ruin you. You don't want to be Pee Wee Herman forever. Or maybe you do. I don't fucking know. I'm just saying, there's certain things you have to be cognizant about. You have to be aware of these things, and it is nice to see people like Bobby if you're giving back and taking care of people. Because again, these 2 comedians that he brought up, I didn't know them, and they both killed. I would tell you if they sucked, they both killed. The only thing I would say about Ramses is, brother, you gotta, this is like from one comedy guy watching the act, not just like because I'm analyzing the bits. You gotta stop saying the shock value point and then immediately follow up with the panicked, hurried, but wait, let me get to the it was a lot of that, and that's kind of Bobby's thing, where like you say something shocking and then like, well, hold on, let me explain. You don't have to do that. You can kind of just let the shit sit in the room and see how the crowd handles it and roll into your next transition. It was a lot of that, but all of the material was solid. Bobby's shit was clean as fuck.
Yep.
And at the end of the show, after he did all of his good material, because he went around the world with shit. He talked about he's single now, so even though he said on the podcast that he's got a new girl that he's been seeing for a couple months, that obviously didn't fucking work out. That motherfucker is single now. So
did you get laid?
oh yeah. I mean, if I
You
would have been
have
down on
butthole,
the
right?
Dave, if
showed
I'd
you
have been on the
his
ground floor, you're joking, but this is the thing. If you would have been on the ground floor, there was a chance that you would have had Bobby Lee's asshole in your mouth.
Or if
I'm
you
not
had Down syndrome, he might have sucked your dick. So there's always that.
So
He's gonna be so, dude. If he ever hears, he's gonna frown and be like, dude, what the fuck? It's like, you put that out there, Bobby. So
hey, he said it too many times.
you
bro.
put it
He
out
said
there,
it
bro.
too many times.
He does that. He did that with Theo, where like he'll bring it up and then Theo laughs. He's like, why are you laughing? I'm telling you that a Down syndrome guy.
Yeah, that was a
molested
good
me."
bit in the beginning.
Yeah.
He would try to tell it super serious. And
I have a question for you guys.
Yeah.
Because I had some arguments with a buddy about this, and you guys are some comedy heads. So you guys are both Bobby Lee adjacent fans and comedy fans. And you,
Sure,
you both, did you both watch Cometown at all?
Of course. I'm a big Mullen fan.
Okay,
I only caught a little bit of it. I kind of got into YouTube a little late,
gotcha.
so I've seen some clips, but that's
So
about
there's a story of Mullen talking about a molestation. He actually talked about it in Vegas Skank Fest
I know what you're talking about.
when he was on with the girls, the guys we fucked girls. I was lucky enough to just accidentally get front row for that because I was like, I don't want to go see any of the shows. I'm going to go here, and he was a special guest. This is my second year, so I kind of figured out how to get front row. But I went to that show, and I was like, well, I like Corinne and Christina well enough, and I've seen the other shows, so I'll give them a shot because whatever. Anyways, but Mullen tells a similar story to Bobby's story, and he told it on Cometown a bunch. And when he first started telling it, I thought he was doing a bit making fun of Bobby Lee because they have very similar stories about a molestation with a mentally retarded guy in the neighborhood. And then I was like, are they both doing a bit, or is this something that happens to people like on the regular? And what's going on?
I think it's common, dude.
Yeah.
I think it's very common.
And it's funny because,
like,
if I'm not
so,
mistaken,
like-
the clip he was talking
So like
on
kids
that,
are getting taken advantage of by retarded people, or they're taking advantage of retarded people?
Well,
or
I
both?
mean, didn't Bobby kind of more? I mean,
Bobby
that's a
turned it
tricky
into a
one
bit because
because
it's so
if-
funny. Go ahead.
you know,
sorry.
the other guy is disabled, so I mean, in the court of law, you would almost kind of think Bobby, being
is the rapist.
clear
in
of
that
mind,
situation.
he is the one molesting the guy. Even if he is
Yeah.
receiving candy, he still should know better.
That
Unless
was-
Bobby
that's
Lee
what-
himself is retarded, because then they're just raping each other.
right,
That's
right.
the
Then
funny
it's fair
thing is
game.
Nick, that's the joke that Nick does with it when they were saying, "Oh, you got molested by retarded guy." He's like, "Not really. If anything, I was kind of molesting him because he's the one with the deficiency, right?"
Right.
And that's when Nick was
100%.
like, they wanted to keep talking about it. He's like, I don't want to talk about this anymore. And it ended right there.
He talks
So,
about it on Cometown, and then he talks about it at Gang Fest a couple times. But yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, go ahead. So I'm just
No,
interested.
yeah,
in
no,
you
yeah,
guys-
I've been having so much fucking fun with this whole episode. So like, please don't apologize. This has been good. Besides, I'm almost done with this fucking Bobby Lee show because, like, the end was the part I wanted to get to,
Yeah.
like the drive and all the other shit. Dude, he asks everybody, because in the middle of the show they're like, show us your butthole, and everybody like laughed their ass off, and he like dropped the mic, and he's like, never before in my life in the middle of a show has someone asked me to show butthole before. Never. This is the first time ever. And he's like, can you fucking believe these people? They're fucking freaks. They're animals. And there was a guy in my row who was like, whip it out. And the first time, Bobby was like, would you say that to fucking... And we were all like, yes. He's like, what? You would? Oh, good. Which, you know, great.
He plays it up like he's been doing this for like... He's playing to the bit, or is he having a sincere moment with you guys?
it's a sincere moment because the people that are next to me, I know they're not plants, because a lot of people wonder if people are ever planted in the audience to make certain bits happen because they're so clean. No, sometimes comedians are just that fast with the reaction time, and they, they're rolling fast.
Remind me to tell my Sagalo story after this, but keep going.
And, it's beautiful because we get past all that, and he's like, all right, guys, I'm going to do a dance now. What do you think my stripper name should be? And that's actually going to be part of the episode title today. Somebody in the crowd yelled, Kumchi. It was like, I like that. Because somebody else said egg roll, and he's like, fuck you, that's China. Fuck you, I'm Korean. And, yeah, when somebody said Kumchi, he's like, yeah, that's... And so he gave somebody the mic. He's like, I need you to be the announcer. And then he actually came and performed in the crowd for a minute, and he sat on this bigger dude's lap for a while, and he's like, can I kiss you? And the guy said, yeah. So he kisses this guy in the crowd in front of everybody. And then he's just sitting on the lap, hanging out with him like, I like you a lot. And then he finally goes back up on the stage. He pulls somebody else from the audience, and he's like, are you giving me consent to give you a lap dance and use you like a doll and do anything that I want? No, there's no safe words. Nothing is off the table. Are you okay with this? And he's like, yeah, okay. He's never had a gay interaction before in his life, but he's ready to get this lap dance. He's got a wife, a kid, right on. He's got some balls to get up there. So Bobby goes. He tells the announcer to start the music after the announcer says the spiel about...
This is why Rudy keeps saying he's gay.
Yeah. And so, we're here at the Fillmore. Here's Kumchi. He comes out. He strips
It's a very
all
funny
of his
bit,
clothes
but
off.
I do see why Rudy
amazing.
thinks he's gay. Yeah.
He strips all of his clothes off except for this, like, Speedo thong he has on. He shows dick. Then he puts it back in. And then, before he gives the guy on the stage a lap dance while the music's going on, the guy that he was sitting on the lap of who he kissed, he gets up on him, pulls his thong down, and shoves his face in the dude's ass. I break. I'm laughing rimmer than anyone in the theater. I can't stop it. I'm dying. And I mean, he's just fucking getting a rimmer, man, for like, you paid Bobby to eat his ass, not the other way around.
Yeah.
Finishes up with that, gets back on the stage, gives this guy a pretty fucking erotic lap dance, makes him grab Bobby's dick, and he grabs this guy's dick. He does a handstand and puts his balls in the dude's face, and it's very intimate, right? And that's how he closed. It was all over. It was great. He ran the fuck out. That was my Bobby Lee finally experience. I thought it was great. 8.5 out of 10. Like I said, Bobby, you don't need the old bits. Your new material's strong enough. It was great. And I hope you don't take another 20 years to do your next special. Just do another one next year. Get into your Carlin era and manufacture this shit, because it was good. It was a good show. My family even liked it, and they didn't really know who you were, and they loved it. There's a tariff bit that the first comedian like I said, I can't remember her name, but my family kept quoting that.
Is it Bird, B-I-R-D, or B-Y-R-D?
I'm not sure. I wish I knew. Like I said, I feel bad that I don't remember more than like the last name of the woman and the first name of the guy who were with them. But yeah, my family kept quoting this tariffs line because she had a bit about
Kate
lemonade.
Kate Bird?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Kate Bird. She's actually on Tiger Belly. I've seen her before.
It was a fucking great bit about, she wanted to get lemonade from this kid's stand. She's like, how much? $8. And I'm like, wow, that's a lot. And the kid says, tariffs. And she's like, I see the fucking lemon tree right there.
Yeah.
Like, just a really smart fucking joke. So yeah, my family latched onto that one.
Yeah, she's interesting and fun. I do know her. She's Kate Bird. and she's on Tiger Belly. They've Tiger Belly has put together like a real family. They're like a big table. Producers are on
I
screen.
can't
for
watch
those
it
who
because
haven't
of
seen it.
Kalila. I know it's more Bobby
Kalila's gotten
content.
better, and I'll tell you why you'll be able to watch it because of Kalila. Is she's got Bell's palsy now. So over the past like year, she has to wear glasses because her eyes all droopy and her face is all swollen. So
Really?
there's like a feeling of like, yeah, like nature and God has punished her for like
Wow.
using her beauty as a weapon.
Karma.
So yeah, so she has been like brought down to the level of she's like tried to like make herself like better than everybody, but because of the Bell's palsy and the trouble and her sadness, it's kind of like made her like, it's humbled her to a point where it's endearing now that she's on the show and they talk
Right.
back and forth. Although it was a little bit rough that she had, you know, Bobby and her never got married, never had kids, and then they broke up and she got pregnant almost immediately.
Yeah.
And then and you know, now and Bobby's still in the life because they're kind of still using him like as an American anchor, and he's a kind enough guy that he's not like.
He says he thinks he fucked up. I don't remember what recent, like, I know you watch Bad Friends. I'm sure you remember him talking about that little bit where he's like, I think I made a mistake. I regret.
The only thing that I saw, and we all kind of get this, is like when you get back in the dating apps and like
Yeah.
even when you're famous and you start getting these like beautiful women and you're talking, you're dating and you're going out, it's like, what am I doing here? Like I had a connection
Right.
with that person, and like, yes, like they, like now that I can have this beautiful sexual woman in front of me, it's like she's like this empty vessel that I wish I could pour the personality of this other person that I was into here. And so really I'm just thinking about all the good bonds that I have with this other person. So maybe there would have been a better path if we had like worked through what we were going through. And then Bobby is openly like critical of himself, where he's like, oh, I don't give attention to anybody. Like Kalila would want to hang out and like cuddle and be boyfriend, girlfriend. I would like just like go in my room and play video games and ignore everybody.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm sure he's got emotional damage from his childhood and the beatings and all that stuff. So I'm not trying to whatever. We all got our stuff. So
Oh, it's a good point though. At least
so
he
he
can
probably
kind of talk
not
about
like
it.
great at like it sounds like her family's close and like they're loving, and they even hang out with like an uncle that murdered somebody with a machete and went to jail. And Bobby Lee had such like, he still talks to his mom, but like he had a bad relationship with his brother and they made up and they fought again and they made up, and him and his dad were violent. So seeing like Bobby thinking that family is hiding in your room playing video games just makes me think, yeah, when his scary father was beating him and his friends, he's like, I'm just gonna go be quiet and
Right.
play video games, and then if anybody comes, I'm gonna make a joke and they'll laugh and I'll be safe. That's what I see. I feel like a child.
I
in
feel
Bobby.
that, man. He just wants to be understood, and a lot of us want that. You know, I don't think anybody is really out here and wants
Yeah.
people to never get it and always question their intentions or judge them because of how they're reacting in a situation. And a lot of us don't have the same skills, I guess, or capabilities, you know? That's why some people, when they do shit, they're at the top, and other people, they don't ever get there. And it doesn't mean that you don't deserve to keep going or do what you want to do, but not being able to think about shit like that or understand some of the actualities of life. There's your subjective reality, and then there's something called actuality. And you got to be able to live in the moment that we reside in. You can't go back to the past, and you can't think too much about the future either, guys. You kind of need to slow her down, relax, and hopefully this little, I want Dave to, because we're almost out of time, I'm going to let Dave tell his Sagalo story, and, because I want to hear this shit.
Oh, all I was gonna say is like when you're talking about Bobby Lee and setting up the crowd, and it reminds me of like Bill Cosby, not the drink giver outer, but the stand up. He would say like, you know, you don't let them know that you're working, and then they'll really love you. And when Sagalo stand up he's always been a really funny guy.
Yeah,
But I
he's a
don't
killer.
think people realize that he's a really amazing stand-up. I know, like Dan Soder's taken him on the road, so Dan recognized it. I've seen Sagalo perform a couple of times. We had Scott Chaplin on the show last night, amazing comedian.
Great
I
show.
saw both of them. Thank you. Both of them perform together, and it felt like seeing two headliners. And when I saw Scott with Lewis, but anyways, when I watched Sagalo perform the last time, up close in a small club. It was the Rhode Island Comedy Club. If you're ever in Providence, it's one of the best clubs in the country. Small ceilings, you're packed in there. They put you with strangers right up in the front row with the comedian.
Yeah.
The stage is like a foot off the ground, and it's like maybe 10 feet by 6 feet. So they, so they're next to everybody. You feel really close with them.
I like that.
And Sagalo's there, and he gets up on stage. He's like, "Hey, how's everybody going?" And he's like, "Oh, this is amazing tonight." And he's like, "I really like it." He's like, and then this, and he goes into what you think is crowd work, but he's not doing like a Stavros where he's like roasting everybody and going to the next.
What do you do, sir? Oh, that's gay.
He's like, "Oh, they got the seats up here. They put these beautiful women in the front row to distract me." He's like, "I should see if they're single. Are you guys single?" And the one girl's like, "I'm single." He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Are you on the apps?" And she's like, "I'm on the apps." And then he's like, "Yeah." And he starts doing his Hinge bit. And he goes through his bit, and it goes into this other thing, and he goes to the other side of the stage, and he's leaning on it. And then he's next to a guy, and he's like, "Hey, how's it going, sir?" He's like, "You enjoying yourself?" "Yeah." And like, "Oh," he's like, "Did you iron that shirt? Did your wife iron that shirt that's sitting next to you?" And he's like, "I ironed it." He's like, "Oh yeah." And then he goes into a bit about that. And so it looks like he's just hanging out, talking to everybody, but he's doing this magical thing where he's using the crowd work to set his bit up, where it looks like the whole audience is plants. And being a fan of the art and the comedy, watching this for me was like I could still laugh and enjoy the show, but I was also watching it from like a, I guess they call it meta perspective, where I was like, this is really beautiful done. He's becoming really good at his craft. Because the average comedy goer, or a lot of comedy goers, don't know that it's an act in a bit that they do all the time, that they work on, and they build 5 into 10 into 15 into 20 minutes into an hour.
That's why it works.
Yeah. They think that a lot of them think that they're just getting up there and they're funny and they're just talking what comes to their mind. And so when he can weave it into the crowd and bring the people that know the trick, and then weave it into like the audience again, so it's like, oh wait, is this a bit, or is this crowd work, or is he working on something new? And you kind of get lost. It really made the show. And so I was like, did he just have a really good night, or is this how he's doing it? Then I see him again at Skankfest doing the same thing, and it was fun watching him be like a mentalist, where he's leading the people in the crowd to say what he needs them to say to set up the bit. And watching him set it up in different ways was so amazing to me. So it's just reminding me of what you were saying about Bobby, where he knows at some point in the thing he wants to like get naked, show his butthole, do a striptease, because that's been his kind of thing. And he does it in different ways, I've heard, but he gets naked on stage in different fashions. And he's probably such a master of his craft that he was like, okay, this guy did this did this. This would be a great opportunity for me to do this and use it to propel me into bringing the crowd into the show to set this bit up. So it's not like they're a plant as much as it is like he saw the opportunity to jump to alley-oop off of the activity and open up, whatever. And then like when you have a whole catalog, it makes it easier because you can jump to any one. If you're that good, you can jump to any one of the jokes or storylines or whatever that you've set up. And when you kind of get it, it doesn't ruin comedy for me. It makes it even better because I feel like I'm in on the trick and I'm enjoying it.
It's just like wrestling. It's just like wrestling, bro. Just because you know they're the choreographing, I don't like to call it stage. Just because you know that there's work put into the performance to entertain you, that doesn't take away from what the fuck it is. You're buying into it. We all knew Andrew Dice Clay wasn't real, and then you like you said, he became real because we willed that shit into existence. We fed into that, and then, you know, hey, hickory dickory dock, suck my cock.
Well, sometimes it makes it even better because when you're like, okay, set up, misdirect, and you know the magic, you're like, oh, that was good, that was funny, but you don't necessarily laugh.
Right.
When a comedian actually does fool you and get you with the good misdirect that you thought was going to go one way and it goes the other, it hits you even harder because you're like, oh, I thought I knew how this trick was going to be, but they got me.
If you're too arrogant, and they catch you slipping,
Yes, it makes it even better for you though. For me, I found that I laugh even harder when they pull that off, and I was like, oh, this guy's good. Ryan Long did that to me a bunch because his special is paced so quickly that you have to go along for the ride. You can't watch it. You have to like ride it.
You know who else was really good at that? Artie, man. I think Artie's one of the best at just any crowd he's got.
Yeah.
I've heard nothing but like every room loves him. No matter when. This motherfucker was doing theaters with Norm. Everybody loved Artie. So some people just have it where it doesn't matter really what they do. It's just because they're saying it. That's what makes it funny.
Yeah, they like them and they want to laugh. They're there to be with them. You take the wheel and I'll just laugh. Yeah.
Well, I've crushed 2 hours out with you guys, and that sounds
Can't believe it.
Yeah, this was a blast. I want to thank you guys for coming on and give you an opportunity to plug. Lemonheads, why don't you go first, man? I know most people know who you are, but let people who don't know.
Well, yeah, Lemonheads everywhere. I got Lemonheads Radio is the main account. I have Lemonheads is my burner on YouTube, and Lemonheads on X. That's it.
And make sure it's HEDZ, guys.
Yes, thank you.
Don't be complaining like you can't fucking find him or some shit. He's out there. I will put the links in the bio so nobody gets
I'm all
confused.
across YouTube, baby. You can find me.
I know I got some dyslexic fucking followers out there, so we'll hold your hands. And Dave, I know I kind of plugged you a little bit in the beginning, but please let these motherfuckers know everything that you got going on.
I guess the main thing that everybody would want to see as comedy fans, even though we call it a talk show, is every Saturday night we go live at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Myself and the star of the show, the Dalton Pruitt. You guys probably know him from the Gas Digital universe. He's currently in Parts Unknown. But we do a 4-hour live show with a live crowd. We have different stand-ups, comedians, different personalities, just friends. It's a hang. We set it up as a hang. You never know who's going to show up. Sometimes the show starts with the comedian and ends with 4 guys hanging out, and a comedian jumps in the middle. It goes from 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to about midnight whenever we end. And then if you're looking for gig work or extra work or just like business talking, hanging out, I started a new show with my friend Broseph Smith that goes at noontime on Saturdays on Right Ideas. It used to be a bigger channel. I rebooted it or whatever, but Hindi, put some links in the thing. I appreciate you having me. I love the comedy community, and I'm honored to be here, even though it feels weird to say.
No, I get what you mean.
It's cool to meet people and have a good time. I'm if you know who I am, if you're here, you probably know who I am. And and just follow me on Twitter for some fun, or check out the YouTube channel. So thank you very much.
Dave, I'm sorry. What's the name of the show on Saturday night?
So Corn Fed with Dalton Pruitt. And basically he's had the show, and then, a year and a half ago, he needed guests. And I said, do you want me to come on Saturday to help you stream more? And he said, sure, if you want. And everybody hated me. And here we are, a year and a half later, and it's the biggest show on his network. It's a Saturday night show. We have a lot of fun. We've had Ray Kump, we've had Josie Marcelino, we've had Drew Montana, Naeem Ali, Scott Chaplin. We've had Pericles from Twitter on. I'm missing some people, but we get, decent sized names. We had the Skank Fest.
Bringing Ellie on was pretty tight.
Oh yeah, we have Ellie on a couple different times. We had her on for Valentine's Day with Drew Montana. So if you guys want an introductory to it, I'll put I can put my link tree below, and I have a Saturday Night Live playlist of Corn-Fed. But the other one that might be good is Hindian's episode of the Skankfest recap that we had, where Scott Potter came on. Josh Potter came on.
Shout out Josh.
Josh is amazing. We're gonna have him on the show as a full guest coming up. He's busy.
Oh, yeah.
He's a working comedian.
Cool.
He rules.
That was a great night. Toke and Tony was there. Drew was there. Everybody was there. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, so that's a good introductory for people. But if you just check out that playlist, you'll see some big names. In the live chat's a lot of fun. They can be mean sometimes. We're trying to make it positive. So if you like live interactions on Saturday night, it's a hangout. Come drink, come smoke, or just come chill in the chat. Be yourself. It's very low key.
Cool. I will see you guys in the chat.
Yeah,
it's a great overlap. I'm hoping to see more Lemonheads come over because I think Dave's been noticing the Jasoning that's happening with the Corn-Fed audience, and
Well, I'm gonna jump in the chat and we'll see how many are there. We'll verify.
Dude, I love it. I'm telling you, randomly, I'll just see people memeing on Jace, and I'm like, I need more of this. Jace is like that. Yes, more.
I'm a Lemonhead and a Hate Watch. I actually watch Hate Watch more than Lemonhead.
I'm getting into it more. I feel bad that I've slept on Devin's show, but like I always liked Hate Watch. It's just I don't know why I didn't watch it more.
Yeah, they got a good chemistry, and what's great is even Connor is like starting to find his flow. So like they used to pick on him as the weakest link, and he's like funnier. He just looks like he's not that funny. He's funnier than most comedians on their podcast. It's just that there's 3 other guys that are going so hardcore that whatever. So so you really
he's having to pick his battles a little bit. I feel that.
But I love those guys. So come on over. Everybody's welcome. It's a Misfit Saturday night hang. So
hell yeah.
And I will plug this one last thing for Dave. Check out that link tree because he also has a very comprehensive list if you are trying to again find some income for yourself and break away. He does have a lot of helpful shit for people. Like most people will charge you for the information he has, and he has hundreds of different apps that you can use to make money and just other useful shit. So yeah, please tap in with him because I go and hang out at Right Ideas. It's fun to just chat, and it's nice that they'll interact with the people in there too, because they've had conversations about how DoorDash works, and if you don't reject a certain delivery, guess what? You're not going to lose points or anything. And if you want to be able to have information like that and know how to kind of thread the needle, please go check out what he's doing outside of just Corn-Fed. He's got a lot to offer. That's why I fuck with him. That's why I had him on. It's also why I had Lemonheads on.
One little quick testimony. So Paul from Sibling Revelry, he came into the show. He does eBay. He was making a couple $1,000s a month on eBay, and he could survive. And he came on the show and he said, Dave, can you set me up with something? I want to make like an extra maybe $250 a week if I could in my spare time or whatever. And I was like, I can teach you how to make an extra $250 a day. It's pretty easy if you're doing it right. And then he took some time away from the show. He came back a month later. He's the unofficial third mic. And he's like, guys, Dave laughed at me when I said I wanted to make like $50 a day in my spare time, maybe $250 a week. He's like, my first month of running the eBay store, living my life, and doing the side hustles, I made an additional $6,500 in the middle of rural Michigan. So he's like, tap in. He knows what he's talking about. Just follow the program and come ask questions. He's like, blow my mind. So he's like, I didn't understand. This is like the best kept secrets. And I didn't realize that I had information that I wasn't sharing this because I just didn't realize.
I think people already know.
Yeah, it's just like, so now that people are tapped in, I like being a resource to people and being helpful for it. So come on over. Yeah.
All right, guys. Right under the wire, too. Perfect. We will catch you next week. I still have guests scheduled out, so thank you very much, everybody that tapped in. And, we will catch y'all later. Thank you again to you two for coming on.
Thank you, guys. Next time.
Yes, thank you very much.